run. He said, you know, when I was in Arizona, everybody used to knock me and say I couldn't run. Well, they couldn't stop the run, period. He got the blame for it. Now, all of a sudden, he's got some great guys around him, and nobody talks about his inability to stop the run anymore. It's an area that he wanted to work on, and Monty Kiffin, the defensive coordinator of the Bucs, stated it very simply. When he came here, if he wasn't a better run stopper, he wasn't going to play.
And he actually led the defensive line in tackles this year. There is Monty Kiffin, the brilliant defensive coordinator for this ball club.
I like talking to Simeon Rice when he says, he points up to the ceiling in the room and he says, you know, there's a higher purpose for what I have to do. Well, he's not talking about God. He's talking about where he wants, the level of play he wants to get to. He said, I got to get to the top. He said, I'm not even close to being where I want to be as a player.
Third overall pick in the 96 draft. Now it's second and 13.
Chad Lewis, the tight end, becomes a big part of their offense down close.
Four-man rush. McNabb throws it at the feet of Deuce Staley, trying to set up a little screen. Let's get down to Susie.
Mike, Simeon Rice admits that he had a tough time adjusting to a new team, new scheme, 1 sack in the first 7 games. He also said he found way too many egos in the locker room. Little genuine conversation, but he learned that's not how he wants to be. But still, the overriding theme among all these stars was we want to win. Once he adapted and realized every man plays his gap, he could trust everyone, that's when he started to really play his game.
A lot of guys on that defense you can trust. Third and long, little swing pass. Staley with blockers in front. Deuce Staley, touchdown.
There's a flag on the play, and it's against Philadelphia.
Holy cow. A little swing screen for 23 yards and a touchdown, but it comes back.
Well, Staley had 2 guys, 2 offensive linemen out in front of him. Fraley was one.
Looks like personal foul.
Referee's now talking it over. They have already called back the touchdown.
You see what Andy Reid is doing now? He has the communication to Donovan McNabb.
Personal foul, number 76 of the offensive team for unnecessary roughness after the offensive team had already scored. The touchdown is good. The penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
So the touchdown counts. Wellborn called for the personal foul after the play.
First of all, here's the touchdown. And just take a look at this. Look at the blocking downfield. Now, that's excellent blocking. That's Fraley, the center, that's out in front. Now, the touchdown had already been scored.
And Dexter Jackson, instead of wrapping him up, just tried to throw his shoulder into him. And they couldn't stop Staley.
Hank Fraley out of Robert Morris College. Doing an excellent job at center for the Eagles.
Why not? He was coached by Joe Walton. Akers for the point after.
Right in the middle of your screen, number 99 and number 76. There they are. There's the kick. There's the pull. And there's the penalty.
The kick's no good.
Now remember, last week in that quote-unquote game that meant nothing, the only member of the starting offensive line that played that game was John Wellborn. He's seen enough of Warren Sapp.
Coming up on the Lexus Halftime Show, Chris Berman and Steve Young from our New York studio will report on the Jets-Oakland game in the AFC that follows us, and a look at this year's NFC Pro Bowl starters as well.
You know, Hugh Douglas was talking about last year when they were in the playoffs, Joey, that their team let other teams get to them. They let them rag on them, say, okay, get in their face, and these guys started to get back, and they forgot they were playing a football game. So what they decided in this ball game, and I said there was a quiet confidence about this football team. They were not going to get into the verbal jazz with Tampa, just play their football game. But that time, I mean, you talk about a kick.
That wasn't verbal.
No, Wilburn, that's a kick, and I'm surprised that he's still in the ball game.
So am I.
He missed. Maybe that had something to do with it.
If he hadn't missed, Warren Sapp might not be in the ball game. Let's see if this penalty will have any effect. It pushes them all the way back to the 15-yard line to kick off, and the Bucs still have 35 seconds on the first half clock. Stecker moves all the way up to his 15.
Bucs can get some good field position and at least get a shot at 3. All their timeouts.
Here's another low line drive. Stecker has to wait for it at the 18. And can only manage to get back to the 38. Let's check in with Susan.
Mike, the scoreboard, not good news for Tampa Bay. We all know about buck ball, but the drawback of relying on defense in the running game, they are not built to come from behind. They've lost every game over the last 2 seasons in which they've fallen behind by 6 or more. They are 0-11 in those games. So, Mike, just another haunting stat we're going to have to overcome tonight.
Well, they avoided the 40 degrees at kickoff, but that statistic much more critical for this ball club. The fact that they are not built to come from behind, that this is a very elementary passing game to do it with. 3-man rush. Johnson dumps it to Warwick Dunn. Can't get out of bounds, makes the 41. And a timeout for Tampa Bay.
One of the things that Tampa Bay did not want to do, and they don't want to do, and they know it hurt him last year, is when you take Dunn and Allstott out of the game, out of the running part of the game, you take the majority of their offense. Their offense is based on running the football with those 2 guys. When you get behind, as far as they got behind, again, they have a tough time throwing the ball.
Keyshawn Johnson was supposed to be the answer at wide receiver, but he has not gotten a lot of yardage downfield after catches. Allstott, 29 yards. Dunn, only 5 carries for 5 yards so far in this game. .23 seconds left. Bucs with 2 timeouts remaining. The Eagles show blitz and come with it. The pass behind Jaquez Green.
And the one thing about this Philadelphia defense, Joe, the speed of their linebackers and the good defensive backs, you really can't dink and dunk against these guys. I mean, when you talk about dinking and dunking passes, little short passes, 5 passes so far have been to running backs, 2 to tight ends, and that's just the second pass thrown to a wide receiver.
The first one was caught by Keyshawn.
3rd and 6. The Bucs trying to keep this drive alive. Johnson with plenty of time to Keyshawn down the middle. Keyshawn Johnson breaks a tackle inside the 15 to the 13-yard line. How did he get that wide open?
He may not be fast, but he has an ability to work the middle of the football field like another great Hall of Famer to be, Chris Carter. Brad Johnson gets plenty of time, and this just gets lofted over the linebackers and beneath the defensive backs. There you see the semi-press by Al Harris. He cuts him loose. The linebackers just aren't deep enough in their drop. And then look at him work the ball. He did a good job of protecting the ball on that running play. He has 1 reception over 40 yards. That was against the Bears at a very critical moment in that game and fumbled it. And the Bears recovered. So this one he did a good job of protecting.
Caught 2 for 63 yards today. So 11 seconds to go. And the Bucs are threatening. There is Gramatica. And Gramatica is limping. They have Doug Bryan as their backup kicker, but he has been deactivated. It doesn't look like Gramatica can kick anything right now.
Well, he slipped over there trying to kick some balls, practicing.
Johnson to throw. Allstott got out of bounds. Stop the clock with 2 seconds to go. Coming up at halftime, we'll be announcing the NFC Pro Bowl starters for you on our halftime show with Chris Berman and Steve Young. Now, what do you do if you're the Bucs? Gramatica was in obvious pain on the sideline.
He's not even limping now. He ran onto the field. He's fine now. Gramatica is Dramatica.
I would think that Tampa Bay would want to take a shot at kicking the field goal with 2 seconds to go. There they are.
Gramatica's going to line up and warm up again during the timeout.
Yep. Use up all your timeouts. Give them as much time as you can to get them recovered. It's going to be a little bit longer than an extra point for him. Keyshawn Johnson, 106 catches this year, just 1 touchdown. Going to the Pro Bowl.
Tell you what, Joe, he has always talked the talk, but he's always backed it up.
He really has. And he's thrilled with the fact that Brad Johnson is his quarterback. You can see the two of them talking now.
2 seconds remaining in the first half. Tampa Bay trying to get back to within 8.
Of course, Martin missed the last 3 games of the season because of a hamstring problem.
Well, he hurt his ankle over there, and the guys on the bench said, hey, get out there. Let me tell you, it's a playoff game. Get out there.
He recovered a little faster than his brother did, didn't he?
Well, I'll tell you how fast you recover when they threaten you.
Gramatica will try this from 27. He's hit from 36 and 32. Knocks it through. And the Bucs close to within 8 on the final play of the first half. Now let's join Chris Berman and Steve Young in our New York studio. Back in Philadelphia for Wild Card Saturday, the Bucs and the Eagles, and the Eagles win the first half 17-9. Welcome back, everybody. Glad you could join us on an early Saturday afternoon, working into Saturday night for the Bucs and the Eagles. It's exactly what you guys said to expect in this ballgame. A lot of defense and Donovan McNabb making big plays.
Well, 2 big plays by Philadelphia on offense. McNabb and then the screen to Deuce Staley, and then the one by Keyshawn Johnson ended up in the field goal. That's it for offense.
But for the Bucs, that field goal at the end of the half was huge. It's a big difference going in down by 11, down by 8. They can stay with their game plan a little bit more. They can continue to try and run the football to try and hold off this Eagle defense a little bit longer. Because if they have to start to throw, they don't have the wide receivers to get it done.
Eagles to kick to start the second half. Aaron Stecker from the 5. Has the outside. Stecker dragged down at the 38-yard line. First half numbers from the vet and the Eagles with the advantage in total yards, 190 to 128. The margin comes in rushing, 93 to only 34 for Tampa Bay. The leaders, Brad Johnson, incredibly accurate as always for 101 yards. Warwick Dunn, only 5 yards rushing. Keyshawn Johnson, courtesy of that late big play, has 63 yards on 2 catches. Cook and Allstott are the backs. Allstott. He's drilled by Brandon Whiting. Let's go to Susie.
Well, Mike, coaches are never satisfied. Despite the lead, Andy Reid said he didn't like the fact that Mike Allstott broke a couple on them. Even though the Eagles are up, he's still concerned about that Bucs passing game. You saw Johnson to Johnson just before the half. I asked him if he really wants to get their running game going. He said no, he's more concerned if they keep mixing it up. He said, we need to put more points on the board.
All right, Susie, thanks. The Bucs from the 38. 2nd and 9. Empty backfield for Johnson. Blitz coming. Unloads for Dunn, and it will be intercepted by Damon Moore.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Damon Moore just played center field. They had the blitz on. When you empty that backfield, I love the call. I love the fact that you have an empty backfield and there's nobody back there to protect the quarterback. Go ahead, send some people. Here they come. Trotter's there.
Carlos Emmons is the outside